You're watching the Movie Dogs. We bark about the movies and nothing but the movies. Welcome to the Doghouse. We take a bite out of the movies. Subscribe to the Movie Dogs and become part of our film-loving community. Hit that subscribe button and don't forget to click the bell for updates. See you in the next review.
Please welcome your host, Joshua Church.
Hey everybody. So today my buddy Billy is doing a two-part Kill Bill Volume 1 and Kill Bill Volume 2 review. More of a deep dive than our quick bites. And I am tasked with doing Kill Bill Volume 2. Now, when it comes to Kill Bill, I really don't. It's a movie series that I very much enjoy, but I don't revisit it very often. And most of that is due to the fact of the length of both movies and the fact that if you watch one, you have to watch two. And 1 and 2 are almost completely different films in how they are portrayed, what they are trying to say, and what happens. And especially just vibes. Like that first movie is kinetic and action-packed and full of blood and gore and lots of crazy choreography, and the second one is not that at all. Now, I do love both movies. I wouldn't put them at the very top of my Tarantino list, but still pretty high up because I do think it's a really, really solid two-parter. Now, in that second movie, Uma Thurman's bride has wrapped up her destruction of the Crazy 88 and Oren Ishii and all of that, and she's on her way to go after Bud, and so this one kind of like, okay, it takes the slow path. So she goes after Bud, and you think, oh, he's just in his trailer, he's some sad, bouncer who's like he's not what he was, and he agrees that she deserves her vengeance and all of that. He ambushes her, shoots her in the chest with rock salt, and then buries her alive. So his whole plan is, I'm going to sell her sword, then, it's worth a lot of money because it's genuine, and, he's going to make all this money, and he's going to, be done and whatever. Get out of that trailer and out of the situation he was in. So, which is crazy, but, so she's buried. So the whole thing kind of goes into this past of her training, and, of course, Bill taking her to be trained by Pai Mei and to learn this, learn all this kind of secret stuff from him, and, be this great, kung fu, guru character, whatever. It's very cheesy kung fu flick. It's very over the top. The guy wisping his wisping his beard, and just being a little extra all the time, but it's still fun. And of course, she's just this white girl coming into this, Asian world to try to learn techniques from the master and all this, but it's very fun. And, of course, he's trying to show her how to toughen up and learn these strikes and, do the 4-inch hit and all that kind of stuff. And of course, that bit leads to her breaking out of the coffin, and so it's a nice little tie-in of you need to know about her training and her connections with Bill and what he put her through to get her to where she needs to be, and then her breaking out of the casket which she is buried in, and she digs her way out of the grave, and then goes after Bud, who at the time, you called in the other, I think it was not Kim Basinger, Daryl Hannah, who was playing the one-eyed, can't remember the name of her character, but the one-eyed, assassin on Bill's squad. She shows up, and she's like, whatever, I'm going to kill, Bud, and I'm going to try to frame it on, the bride, and I'm going to, take the money and all this other stuff. So she kills Bud, has him struck in the face a couple of times with a black mamba, and then she, is then surprised that the bride shows up, and they have this big fight, and it's really awesome, and there's a great callback to, Pai Mei's training and stuff, and how he yanked out her eye, and then she takes her other eye and leaves her thrashing about in the trailer while the snake is coming for her and stuff. It's a great scene. But then you get really to the crux of this movie, okay? Because the Bud stuff's kind of as a letdown, and then her facing off with, old One Eye is cool, but it's not that crazy because, again, it's cramped and the choreography has to be real tight in there. And so that whole bit is okay. And then you're like, okay, good. Finally going to get her versus Bill. And Bill's this, David Carradine, he's going to have all this stuff. He's going to be it's going to be this awesome fight. And then, so she goes to Mexico and she talks to, the guy who knows both of them. And he tells her where, he is. And as soon as she shows up, it's like, oh, look, Bill's fine. He's living this dad life. And he's been raising their daughter who survived and did not die. So it's just really tragic. She walks in, and then it's her daughter, and she has to play like her daughter shot her, and she has to be a mom for a second. But this tension between her and Bill and what's going on, and it's honestly my favorite part of the whole movie, even though at the time, the first time I watched it, in my not so cinephile, younger age, kind of eyes, I was like, come on, they're not going to have a fight, it's just going to, damn it, I was so pissed. But now when I watch it, I go, it's the best part of the movie. And so they put the kid to bed, and then they're like, we have to have a conversation. And he knows that she's just going to come at him furiously, so he drugs her and goes, okay, we're going to have a conversation. And now, granted, the conversation's great. He talks about Superman and Clark Kent and how... Superman Clark is Superman's take on humanity and how he sees them as weak and all this. And I totally disagree with that, but it's an interesting take. And then he, talks to her and goes, you're a killer. You're a stone cold killer. You tried to go be a housewife. You tried to go be normal, and you can't be. You're not normal. You're what you are. And I made you this way. And it's very... it's very power mad, like, guy thing of, I'm going to see things the way I want to see them. And I'm going to take something even as pure as Superman. I'm going to see the dark side of that. And that's how I see the world, is this darker kind of view. It reminds me of times I've talked to buddies of mine who are very different than me politically and morally. Who are really good people, but very different than me. And how they saw, like, Star Wars, and they were like, oh, the Empire is, the left and all this. And I was like, what? It was like, really? And I just remember thinking to myself, that's a take, and so this is what that reminded me of a guy who sees it a completely different way and has this kind of almost warped worldview. And so Bill and her have the seat and waiting for the drugs to wear off and having this conversation. It's a really great scene, and it's all Quentin Tarantino dialogue. It's really well done. And, then they're like, okay, we're going to face off. And they have this kind of cool sword fight at a table, which is quick. And then because it's been layered through the movie that, he never would teach anybody his exploding heart 5-hit technique or whatever, 5-step technique. And he wouldn't teach anybody. And then she does it on Bill. And Bill's like, oh my God, he taught you, Pai Mei taught you that trick? Like, that's crazy. And he never told me, like, he would tell anybody. And she was like, of course he taught me that, And so there's this great moment of her knowing that she loved Bill and she felt betrayed. And she is like, okay, I've killed you basically. And I'm giving you the dignity to go walk this off, to go honorably take your steps and wait for your heart to explode and die. And so it's really kind of sweet and kind of soft, and it's quick, and there's no real fight. And then he just stands up and tightens up his, jacket and all that and walks and then falls over dead. And of course she takes her daughter and they leave, and, it's really sweet. And then the end is just her crying out of like laughter or, it's kind of sad, but also happy moment of her just laying in the bathroom, just kind of taking it all in of what she has accomplished and what she has to do now. And she can kind of close the door on that and be a mother. And like I said, it's a sweet ending to a movie that is 2 parts. But it's definitely a completely different vibe. And I think if you watch it and you watch the first movie and you expect a lot of action, and you watch the second movie and you expect it to continue, and then it's not, it can be jarring. And I think if you watched it as one solid film, like the whole bloody affair, I don't think it would work as well, because I think it would just be like, man, this movie just kind of fell off the cliff at the end. But as 2 separate movies with 2 separate vibes and 2 different messages of what this is, and a twist on the revenge tale taking a different turn, I thought it was very cool. Because the first movie is very grindhousey, very over the top, like a mixture of kung fu revenge flick and Western revenge flick, which are very related and similar. Watch Yojimbo and then watch Fistful of Dollars to see what I mean. They have connective tissue between them. So that was really cool. And then the second movie, it kind of goes, but twist. I'm going to change it. I'm going to flip the script. And I'm going to make the villain somebody you can understand for a moment. To make Bill a person and not just one of the, assassins, which all of them had some twists as well, but it was nice to go, no, we're changing it for that one. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a really good movie. It's up there on my Tarantino list, but again, like I said, it's not like tip top of my Tarantino list. I'm weird. I got different tastes sometimes, but yeah, I think it's a really good movie. The second one's pretty fun, but worth it. God dang it, is it worth it for that David Carradine scene? So yeah, so that's my review, a long-winded review for Kill Bill Volume 2. I hope you check out Billy's Part 1 review, and check out all of our stuff here on Movie Dawgs channel and Quick Bites and And if you're in Dunnellon, swing by River Monster Comics and talk movies with me. I'll gladly talk your ear off for an hour or two. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Have a good one, and see you soon. Hey, like and subscribe. Be sure to check out more of the content on the Movie Dawgs channel. All the reviews and cool remarks and cool guests like me, Josh Church, the owner of River Monster Comics. We are in Dunnellon, Florida, so if you're ever in the area, come by and check out the shop. Get some cool nerd stuff, comics, pops, toys, whatever. And swing by and just have some cool conversations about movies and all things pop culture. We appreciate you. See you soon.